The latest update on Trey Hendrickson is huge for Bengals fans. Right now, he's standing firm and not backing down in his contract negotiations. Hendrickson wants security. Reports suggest he's pushing for a 2 or even 3-year guaranteed deal. But the Bengals front office is holding their ground too, sticking with just a 1-year offer. With the season getting closer each day, this standoff is becoming a real concern. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Veteran pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney has started exploring options with teams. Could Cincinnati be on his radar? It's possible. Clowney reportedly wants to wait until after preseason and the final 53-man roster cuts before signing anywhere. That timing could put the Bengals in play if Hendrickson's situation doesn't get resolved. Looking at preseason, one thing is clear. The Bengals' pass rush hasn't been explosive. Sure, preseason doesn't always reveal everything. It's mostly basic schemes, but it's still concerning. Imagine heading into the regular season with Myles Murphy on one side and Shamar Shah on the other. While Shamar has shown promise, Murphy hasn't been as convincing. Without Hendrickson, the defensive line could look shaky. So here's the big question. Should the Bengals make a move for Clowney or double down on fixing things with Hendrickson? If Trey Hendrickson really sticks to his stance and doesn't take the field without a new deal, the Bengals can't afford to just sit back. This defense needs a strong pass rush, and without Hendrickson, that strength disappears fast. In a situation like this, Cincinnati doesn't have the luxury of being picky. You grab any proven player who can disrupt quarterbacks. And that's where Jadeveon Clowney could come in. Even if Hendrickson eventually returns, adding another veteran pass rusher wouldn't hurt. In today's NFL, you can never have too many guys who can collapse the pocket. Clowney could be used as a rotational piece, keeping the front line fresh and dangerous throughout the game. It also helps when you look at the Bengals' current depth. Linebacker is already thin, which means an extra edge presence could ease the load on the defense. Coaches would have more flexibility, using players like Barrett Carter in coverage roles while letting someone like Clowney handle pressure packages. That kind of balance could turn a weakness into a strength as the season unfolds. The reality is simple. Whether Trey returns or not, the Bengals' defense could benefit from one more veteran disruptor. The question is, will the front office be bold enough to make that move? The Bengals still have options. Bringing in more proven players gives the defense flexibility, and that's exactly what Cincinnati needs right now. Take Jadeveon Clowney, for example. Last season, he posted a 73.2 pass rush grade and a 63.4 run defense grade. At 32 years old, age will always be part of the conversation, but for a 1-year deal, it's hardly a major risk. This would be more like a short-term rental. See how he fits, and if it works, great. And honestly, when it comes to pass rushers, experience can be an advantage. Many veterans refine their technique over time, allowing them to stay effective even as the years add up. If Clowney can still collapse pockets and create pressure, that's exactly the spark the Bengals need. Of course, everything comes down to price. If the number makes sense, Cincinnati should pull the trigger. Because here's the truth. If adding Clowney improves this defense even by 1%, it's worth it. In a division as tough as the AFC North, that 1% can be the difference between chasing the playoffs and controlling them. Here's the reality. This Bengals team doesn't need a top 5 defense to contend for a Super Bowl. The offense, with Joe Burrow at the helm, is that powerful. Even if the defense were ranked in the mid-20s, Cincinnati could still make a serious run. But if the front office can patch just a few weak spots, like shoring up the right guard position, tightening up the safety group, and maybe even adding a veteran corner, the outlook changes completely. Now, imagine adding Jadeveon Clowney into that mix. His presence alone could elevate the Bengals from a bottom-tier defense to something closer to league average, or better. Personally, I don't see this unit finishing 32nd as some critics fear. My prediction? Cincinnati closes the season with the 11th ranked defense in the NFL. just outside the top 10, but strong enough to keep this team in every single game. Sure, there will be struggles in certain areas, and it won't always be smooth. But give Burrow and this offense even a middle-of-the-pack defense, say ranked 18th or 20th, and the Bengals will have every chance to dominate. Because when the defense does just enough, Burrow can take care of the rest. One thing Bengals fans know, if you give Joe Burrow even a solid defense, he can take this team a long way. It doesn't have to be elite. It just has to be reliable. Burrow has proven he can win with less. And with even a decent supporting cast, the Bengals can go deep into the postseason. But defense isn't the only factor. Special teams will play a huge role as well. Last season, kicking became a real concern. Evan McPherson, better known as Money Mac, had some struggles after dealing with injury, and the experiment with Cade York only added to the frustration. Reliable kicking can be the difference in tight AFC North battles, and that's an area Cincinnati cannot afford to overlook. The punting situation also came into focus last year, moving from Brad Robbins to Ryan. While those adjustments helped stabilize things, it's still a reminder that special teams can swing games just as much as offense or defense. If the Bengals want to maximize their Super Bowl window, it won't just be Burrow and the defense. It'll also come down to clean, consistent execution on special teams. Even with Joe Burrow and one of the league's most dangerous offenses, there are still a few concerns that keep me up at night as a Bengals fan. The biggest one? That right guard position battle. If the offensive line doesn't hold up, Burrow could be forced into tough situations. And that means the Bengals might be relying on long field goals far too often. And here's the scary part. We all remember last season. If the kicking game had been more consistent, Cincinnati could very well have been in the playoffs. That reality still stings. So the question becomes, will Evan McPherson return to being the reliable Money Mac we know he can be? If he does, it changes everything. A dependable kicker in those pressure moments could be the hidden difference maker between missing the postseason and making a deep run. These are the little things that keep fans awake, wondering how this team will hold up when the games matter most.